make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door. It's the Richard Wilmore Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Richard Wilmore.
Probably gonna be her show by the time this is over.
Trust me, it will be her show.
Probably.
When did you start acting?
Last August.
Last August. What made you decide to start acting?
It looked very, very fun.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I put smiles on my family's face, and I want to spread that joy and put smiles on other people's faces.
Who paid you to say that? Did Derek pay you to say that? You just, that's what you like, right? That's what you love? Can I take you home with me?
Over my dead body. I've got first dibs on this kid.
We are being recorded and we will fight about it.
We will. There's a back parking lot there.
Good, let me show you how to slap her.
That's a real slap, huh?
Yes, it's a real slap.
Yeah, I was in front row opening night. We're going to talk about the Garden poem right here at the Overtime Theater. It runs through August 4th, correct? Mm-hmm. You wrote this thing,
yes.
You directed it.
And produced it.
Produced it, you wrote the music.
Yes, I'm a co-writer with Brian Henderson, who is the genius that wrote all the melodic melodies and did the interim music between the scenes. I've been working with him, for a couple of years now. He did all of the award-winning music from Dorian Gray that we won all the ATACs from. And he's really a genius. And he is so easy to work with as a producer. So I wrote all the lyrics, he wrote all the music, and then he composed it, and he, did what they do in the studio. And we worked a year on the music alone.
Wow.
So it was pretty intense.
Also intense is just the entire show. I mean, you are crying through the entire thing.
Yes, sir.
And those are some real tears coming out of you. And the opening night, I was like, oh my God, I would have such a headache after crying for 2 hours.
I drink a lot of water after the show. I'm really dehydrated.
I bet. I can't. It's such a... What made you come up with this concept for this show?
Well, actually, I was watching TV one evening, and there was a documentary on about parents who have lost their children due to tragedy. And it also kind of blended in with adults that have lost other adults through tragedy. And it was interesting the phases they go through. We all go through these grief phases. Johnny didn't complete all of his phases in this play. But some people drink, some people do pills. But the ones that survive the most, especially when dealing with a child's death, are the people that have some form of a faith-based belief system, whether you're Buddhist, Hindu, Christian, Jew, or anything there in between. Each of us wants to believe that there is a nirvanic place that we end up, especially if there's been a tragedy where it scares the person, we want to know that our loved one is fulfilled in a place of nirvanic emotion. So these are the people that survived. And people have multiple deaths in families. It happens. I mean, just one year right after the other. And these people, it's hard. I mean, death is something that's very graphic. People don't want to talk about it. We don't want to face it. But we have to deal with it, each of us, every day of our lives. I've worked with hospice for many years with children who were passing. And so I had something to relate to. I'm not a parent, But if I were a parent, I would probably be much more animated than I was in this play. I'd probably be the one that would be just crawling the wall, literally. But I'm very fortunate to have the actors that I have in this play. And having the chemistry that I have in this play with both these actors. And both these actors are superb. And if I have to do something this strenuous on my body, I feel like I have a safety net with these two actors. When you go through something like that as an actor, because you really live, and I'm a very method actor, which is horrible at your home life, by the way. But it's nice when you come to work, and I know that, you know, Miss Marlett is going to protect me as an actor on that set, and as Miss Rainn is too. Don't you? You protect your fake daddy.
What's your favorite part about being in this play?
Well, it's because I get to tell my daddy that I'm going to be in some place very special, and I get to comfort him.
And this is your first play, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was it like to audition for this show? Were you nervous? No, because you're a professional. Yeah. What about learning lines? You have a lot of lines. How was that?
Really, it only took 3 months, and I was scared I was going to drop them, but I didn't.
You did not. No, you did not.
After like 3 or 2 months
I know.
of learning it.
Are you going to keep doing stuff like this?
Mm-hmm. I'm even writing scripts for him, her, and me.
What? Are you going to write me in one?
Probably.
Okay, good.
No, I don't want anybody better looking than me in a play.
Just put me in that
That's
lighting
the
and
first
it'll be fine.
rule. Never choose anyone better looking than your Uncle Derek.
I've always
Ever.
heard no kids or no animals.
Yeah, I've learned that. I have
Just
learned
saying.
that the hard way.
Whitney, what about this show for you? How you have such an interesting character in this show because you're involved heavily, but you're not.
But I'm not, yeah, being the stoic one, it's not easy. I've had some personal things that have happened as we started the rehearsal process, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of a crisis of faith right now myself, and I don't think I can say this. So I had a little bit of difficulty, but Derek and I were discussing it earlier, and the reception that we've gotten from people and the comments that we've gotten back,
Overwhelming.
we have realized that it's because of me telling him, so you screamed at God, so what? It's okay. That it finally gave people permission
Yes.
to really be okay with
To
getting
take the guilt
mad
off
at the
themselves.
universe or, you know, just over things that happen in everyday life. And I think that that's finally brought me some comfort. I was a little resistant to it at first, but yeah, it's brought me some
something
comfort.
to note here about Miss Marlett was that this was not written for 3 people.
Right.
It was written for 2 people, a father and a daughter only. And of course, I've seen Miss Marlett in many productions, and she is a wonderful award-winning actress. Multiple, let me say that correctly, multiple award-winning actress. And
Oh, stop. Keep going.
I hate it. But anyway, we have a wonderful chemistry as friends. And pretty much the relationship you see in this play is us. I mean, it's like having a sister that I adore, and I truly do adore her. And I knew when I was working with her that I had to write her into this play. Once more, it was written for a 2-person play. It was like a tripod, like on a camera. We needed that third leg to solidify. Looking back now, it was the right choice. And this was not a play that I wanted to do. This was way down on the list. I wanted to do another play. But you know, as I've said to many people, sometimes you don't make that choice. And whatever it is out there made that choice for me. I fought it. I fought it all the way. I mean, just like Whitney, I had reservations doing this play. This is a risky play to do. This is not, you know, your typical date night, let's go see a play. Trust me, it's
Yeah,
not.
I came here alone, and it was me sitting
Yeah.
in my car like,
Yeah,
what just happened?
aren't you lucky? Aren't you lucky you didn't have a date? Because you wouldn't have, wouldn't have been a good
I
ending.
wanted ice cream and booze. Is what I
Yeah,
wanted
ice
for
cream and
this.
booze. That's pretty much what we all want at this end of the play. But I knew that when I had met Whitney some years back, that her talent was beyond outstanding, and I needed that. Plus, chemistry in this type of a play, it's such an intimate play. And it's very difficult. I mean, there are many times when both of us leave the theater and we're in rehearsals and we're crying. I mean, it does affect your home life, it affects your professional life, it affects everything. Excuse me, I'm talking with my tongue twisted, affects everything. But I knew when I cast her, I knew instantly that was going to make my play. And you have to look from a producer and a director standpoint other than just an actor. And when Miss Rainn auditioned, and Miss Rainn has had some very personal experiences, which are private for her, but I knew instantly when she discussed those incidents. I can't even talk today.
They
I'm so
just
tired.
finished a show.
Yeah, I just finished the show.
So they're all like-
those incidents with her life, that I knew that she was truly the right character for this too, even though this was her first time on stage. The great thing about working with Miss Rainn, which is both Whitney and I can attest to, we have been there at the beginning. We're there at the beginning. And to watch a young lady like this give up her vulnerability to us, the adults, is something to say. It's something to really say, because she's extremely professional. It has been a true pleasure working with this young lady, and she knows her lines better than we do.
And I want to point something out, because a lot of people say don't work with kids or animals.
Yeah.
Mostly because kids
Animals.
in
Yeah.
You're screwed.
that kids, especially in a performance environment, tend to be overly precocious, and that is not the case. We've got a very down-to-earth young lady here, and
Very
she's
sweet.
polite and
Professional.
very professional and fun
Respectful.
to talk to, and just fun to have around. We're not getting many diva fits out of her.
Nope,
Like,
I'll teach you.
Although one night she actually got a Coca-Cola.
oh,
yes.
right, that was kind of an ugly
And she doesn't
thing.
drink Coca-Cola. And that rehearsal was disastrous. Do you remember that? She was a live wire.
And
But,
then I almost passed out at the end.
yes, and she collapsed at the end. But we were very proud because you overcame that. We all have that as actors,
She's not allowed sugar.
Yeah,
No.
not allowed for
Sometimes
Coca-Cola anymore.
actors get addicted to the can. And you've already gone through that, so you're good.
We've received a lot of letters, memos, and Facebook messages. The first weekend, I got over 30. And I don't know how the people found my email. The stories that they told were beyond tragic, beyond heart-wrenching. Whitney was about to hit on something, and she got sidetracked, but this play is not about us any longer. It was in the beginning. We thought it was. We thought we were going to be these actors going out there.
It
And,
was never about us.
It was, yeah, you're right. It really was never about
I think
us.
that's one of your lines in the show.
Yeah.
We thought it might have been in the beginning, but it took a life of its own. If we can reach just one person, which we already have, and change their lives so that they're not so hard on themselves. It's not about asking God forgiveness, because the Creator, or whatever we believe we call God, has already forgiven us. It's about forgiving ourselves.
Yeah.
It's about giving ourselves permission, just like she said. And the stories are just beyond heart-wrenching. I wish I could tell you them, but in order to hold privacy and respect for these people, I promised them I would keep it confidential. But it's really changed my life in so many ways. And to think that these people actually were lost in so many ways, and they just came to see a theater show, and they left with a life being changed. As a producer and as a director, wow, it changes your whole perspective of why you do what you do. And as an actor, it changes that too. It really does. It changes you.
You wish it could run year-round every day, because The amount of, like, I'm sure it's exhausting to do. I'm sure you love looking at yourself on the wall. I'm sure
Not really.
Came out.
No, wait,
You love your fireplace at home.
let me clarify something. I want to clarify something. You know, actors like pictures of themselves.
It looks like home.
Yeah. Okay, actors like pictures of themselves. This is true. However, I've had so much of quote, Johnny London me. I've heard these songs for a year, over and over and over again, to the point where when I go behind that sofa and I say, I'm sick of me, that's not scripted, that's truly me saying, I don't ever think I like all my characters. I truly am sick of me on this. Me is a little of me is all right, but a lot of me, I mean, I'm sorry, I think this picture of me is hysterically funny. I find it hysterically funny.
Are you going to take it home when the show's over?
If he lets me.
Yeah, that'd be nice in your bedroom.
Why? You're going to come live with me anyway. You're not even going to go back with them. But it is funny because you do get sick of yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, and I tell you something else, what's even funnier, because you see all the gloss of the Johnny London and the albums and the pictures and the music, what's so humorous and creepy at the same time is that this is an extremely humbling show for all of the actors involved. And the show is to show the gloss of a person's life that's not reality. All these people that you see on TV and entertainment tonight, if their dog dies, it feels the same way to someone that has a dog die in Cincinnati. They stump their toe, it hurts. They have the same stomach aches that we have. Life is glittered over by the media, by your management, by the publicity people. You know, this was not, the character I played was not that international superstar that the story told. It was a broken man who was scared, who literally fell to his knees and begged, don't do this, don't take my baby. So I wanted to show the diversity and the extreme of what people see. That's why in the beginning you hear all the Johnny London at the Palladium, Johnny London Hollywood Bowl, you know, to give that false sense of security. Because there is no security. Because behind everyone's door, life happens. And hopefully there's an Audra in someone's life that can keep that person, because really Johnny London was on the way to doing himself in. I mean, you know, I actually even considered that in the play at one point. But there is a person, a family member, for anyone who's going through something like this, with a loss, don't be afraid to go talk to somebody. Reach out. Do not sit in a room by yourself. Reach out to either clergy, a neighbor, a friend. Scream, cry, kick. Do whatever you have to do. But the message is to reach out and allow yourself to be kind to yourself and to forgive yourself.
That should be a good hashtag for the show. Everyone needs an Audra.
Everyone does need an Audra.
Because you really are such a grounding force in this show. It's almost uncomfortable at times to be in the audience because you're so close and it's so real that you're like, am I supposed to be watching? Like,
Right.
Well, this type of play is
Right?
not a traditional. It's not a traditional play. The movement of it at all. It is a slice of life play. It's almost like you're peeking into someone's home or listening in on a phone call that you shouldn't be listening in on. And the audience has to be a little uncomfortable. That's what we want. As a director, I wanted them to be uneasy. I wanted them to squirm, thinking maybe I shouldn't be here listening to this.
Yeah, I was really mad I was in the front row. And I'm like, I want to be back here so I can like, because I can't move because I'm like in the living room with them. It's a magnificent show. It closes on the 4th of August, so get here to the Overtime Theater. What's up next for everyone?
I don't know, but
An insane asylum.
if anybody is casting something that's just funny and fun, please call me. I'm available.
We'll give you her email too.
Well, I'll be performing at the Tobin this December with the Alamo Vaudeville, and we're going to be doing one of the songs actually from the show. So Brian Henderson will be producing me again for my music, and I believe Ron Cuvier is the producer for Alamo Vaudeville. So come on out to the Tobin in December. You'll see it advertised. It'll be splashed everywhere. We're there. This will be my 3rd year at the Tobin.
Oh wow.
So I'm very excited. And what are you going to do, my little precious heart?
make a lot of scripts for people that I know.
Make them
That would
happy.
be-
Make them happy.
And
That would be
what grade are you gonna go into when you start back at school?
second grade.
Second
All right,
grade.
so you've got second
So
grade.
you
coming
are
up.
going to go back to school.
Well, she's gonna be homeschooled.
Okay, good.
All right.
Because I've been
You gotta
bullied
learn.
a lot.
Yeah, she's an anti-bully
You don't
person.
need that.
No one needs
Yeah,
bullying.
she has websites about anti-bullying, which
You
we're
do?
very proud of. Yes.
And I'm gonna try to make people happy and try to make people stop bullying.
That's a good.
That's
I would
fantastic.
love
Best
to help
one.
you with that.
That's a good thing to end on tonight. Stop
Yeah.
bullying. You know?
If they just listen to you, right?
Mhm.
They'll listen, I promise. Thanks, guys.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Go get more drinks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just ran out of Chardonnay.
Oh, that should never
I
happen.
got a bottle in the car.
Alright. Yeah, let me give you my flask.
There's an HEB next door. I can stop
That's
on the
right.
way.
Thank you for
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there,
Oh, hey, before I forget, we need to mention my wife that passed. Not really, but the wife in our show. This beautiful woman was actually the woman who did all of the Beverly London vocals, and her name is Jacqueline Nicole. And she actually really looks like this. This is not a Photoshop
She's
picture.
stunning.
She's like breathtakingly drop-dead gorgeous. So big thanks to Jacqueline Nicole for doing all the voiceovers.
she plays a huge part, so
Yeah,
yes.
she really does, and she was a very vital part in this whole production, and completely loving, and we were so grateful to have her a part of that too.
Awesome.
Glad we didn't forget that, because she's
Yeah,
my wife there, you know?
You can never forget your wife, that's what I always say.
No.
Thanks. That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Hey,
Daddy!
what's my baby doing?
I'm getting ready for bed. What did you do today, Daddy?
Oh, well, your daddy locked himself up in the studio most of the day, trying to write some new music.
Are you making a new album?
As a matter of fact, I am.
What does it sound like?
Well, your daddy's trying to write some music that's kind of different than what he normally writes.
What do you mean?
Well, your daddy's style of music is pop music. You know, like what you hear on the radio. We call that in our business top 40. But the record company wants Daddy to write a spiritual album, and I'm just not really sure whether I can do that or not.
Daddy, what does spiritual music sound like?
Well, it's kind of like church music, but with a lot more feeling.
Daddy, you can do anything.
Well, my darling, that remains to be seen. Okay, time to get in the bed. I love you. Get on those covers. I love you. Good night.
Daddy,
Yes, baby.
will you read me my special garden poem before I go to sleep?
Oh, sweetheart, do you know how many times I have read you this poem? I read it to you almost every single day since the day you were born. Don't you ever want to hear anything different? I got an idea. Why don't we shake it up tonight? Why don't I read you Goldilocks and the Three
No,
Bears?
I like my garden poem.
Okay. Tell me something. What is it about this poem that you like so much?
When you read it to me, I can see the garden. It's so beautiful. Please read it to me, please.
Okay. Scoot over. Don't hog the bed. The garden poem. There is a special garden for those who wish to see, where time and space are magic and butterflies are free. Yes, there is a special garden where angels come to pray, where children are always welcome and play throughout the day. A place of colored rainbows that never seem to end, and fields of rich green grasses that dance among the wind. A place of endless music where flowers always sing sweet melodies of angels to the fluttering of their wings. Yes, there is a special garden for those who wish to see a special place of beauty just made for you and me.
Thank you, Daddy.